TNT Tuesday, 23rd of April. What's up, David? Oh, sister-in-law's birthday. Happy birthday, Sarah. So, what do we got to talk about today? I don't know. Just got back from, what's up, Pat? Where the hell were we? Oh, Nevada and Arizona. So we were south of Mesquite for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Came back into Mesquite on Thursday. Got fuel, snack, and then the plan was to run up the interstate to St. George and dive back in so we could get down to Twin Point. And then I called an audible. Kind of par for the course. So we went up a canyon right out of Mesquite, which turned into quite the adventure. One of the participants has an aftermarket gas tank system on his Gladiator, and it was spouting fuel like a geyser. Not cool. So we had one of the young bucks in the crew walking along with Wayne and a fire extinguisher just in case, because it was literally pumping fuel out the fill neck because the fuel in the aftermarket tank was boiling. It's a pretty steep climb, low range, which is not necessarily the norm for a 4Xploring trip, but it was a good time to play in some rocks that our Gladiator was capable of, not to mention some pretty good washouts that we had to navigate. Would appear they had a fairly wet spring. We also ran into some washouts down south of Mesquite. Nothing crazy, but nonetheless, you got to be prepared. I sank my Gladiator in a sandy wash, set it right down on the skid plates, and pretty much dug 4 holes. Excuse me, I got a thing going. No, David, we did not. We were not enough fuel to make that route, so that's why we went back into Mesquite. Good friend and customer runs a V8 powered WJ, and it's a little thirsty, so we were pretty thin on fuel, so we decided to go back into Mesquite instead of having a mess. And going the back door into the Savannah mine would have been a mess. Not quite sure the diesel would have made that. I was down to about a quarter of a tank and had 2 cans left, so 13 gallons-ish. So we just decided to abandon that section and head for fuel. So we had a good week, some really good camp spots. Got down to Lake Mead. A couple of us went swimming because it was flipping hot down there by the lakeshore. It was hot, mid-80s. Sun, obviously no shade whatsoever because that part of the topography that we were on used to be under 50 or 60 feet of water, which isn't anymore. So it's pretty much just some little 3-foot scrub stuff and rocks. So it was pretty hot down there. So it was a nice cove. Went for a swim, cooled off, rinsed off, and started pounding. Found some cool mines. Bunch of tourmaline, which is a precursor to copper. One of the fellas, Dell, found a I would call it a geode. He called it something else, but a cleaved, so it was full of crystals. That would be really cool to see under some kind of magnification, other than a shaky zoomed in cell phone camera. But it was pretty cool crystals. So that's what I did last week. A little R&R, cook some good meals for the guys. Now I'm back. Yay. Nah, it's actually a good thing. I've been working on wiring what's up, Robert? Wiring the last of our equipment that hasn't been up and running. So my lathe and my mill. I have a lathe project for one of the Jeeps in the Jeep shop, followed behind a mill project for that said Jeep. So tomorrow we go back to, what's up, Chris? Bob, go back to Home Depot again. So it's not as easy as it used to be because it's like 15 miles away from the current new facility. So kind of make my shopping list and go after work after dinner. So I'll grab another bag of goodies and finish that project up tomorrow. We'll have the lathe running and I can start cutting steering linkage for Ben so we can get the front cycled. Jason just left, not just, but 15-20 minutes ago. We had to cut a notch in our fender to clear his brake setup. It's not a factory TJ brake setup, which does clear, but for those of you with a what's up, Ronnie? To clear aftermarket booster and master cylinder, this Jeep was built a while ago, so late 90s, early 2000s tech. Looks what appears to be a Cadillac master cylinder. That was pretty popular back in the day when you swapped in a rear end that was disc brake versus drum. They're large, very large, and it's very long firewall to grill, so it didn't clear the fender, so we marked it all out and whacked the section of fender out just to get the fenders on the Jeep to build suspension, yada yada yada. Well, all of that is done, so Jason was working on building the inverse of what we cut out to weld back in to seal up the inner fender. So that's done. Fender should be back on it. He's got the hood trimmed and painted. We're not a body shop, so don't expect miracles, Ben, but it is green. It does look pretty decent. We just masked it off and did the edge where we had to do we cut the factory hood versus, well, everybody should know that AAV has discontinued their Highline hood many moons ago. There are some other options out there. But the customer just wanted his hood's pretty beat up, and he's got an old Poison Spider Customs hood louver dealio on it, so he really didn't want to replace the hood, so we just cut it. Glued the edges back together on and did our best at bodywork. Our slogan is we do bodywork with a 2-pound hammer, so if you're looking for chip foos or that quality of bodywork and paint, TNT's not your place. But you want cool suspension and Jeeps that work good, we can do that. So we're progressing on that one. Ryan's, the big black LJ, came back a couple of weeks ago for its 500-mile checkup. Didn't really find anything out the ordinary. And then while it was here, he had us put a twin A or B compressor and a few other odds and ends on it to get it ready for summer. Which we also had to chop his trailer apart and fix a bunch of stuff on his trailer to now haul his Jeep on 40s. So that came out of the spray booth Monday, I think it was on yesterday. The guys over in the spray shop put some bedliner down on all the new steel we put in. We got a little wiring to do, get some taillights running, and load Ryan's Jeep up and send him away so he can go start playing with it. Followed shortly behind with Ben's. So, no major failures on the Gladiator this trip. I'm sure if you guys follow social media, you saw Mary and I had a trip from hell trying to go to Mexico and threw in the towel in Salina, Utah. We trailered it home. I got it fixed with factory parts because that's all I've been able to find that will work. Essentially, the wheel studs failed. So we are still trying to come up with a better solution for that problem. But it did 2,100 miles in a week off-road with no issues. So we'll keep an eye on it and see if the replacement studs from Mopar were any better than the factory issued ones, which sucked. So what else is going on? I don't know. The auto shop's busy. Daniel, that was something that happened while I was gone. Caught a blip of service in the middle of nowhere and saw that he had got his master ASE Master Tech. So he's completed 8 courses and 8 tests, and that's what's required to become a Master Tech as far as ASE is concerned. So congratulations to Daniel, our first Master Tech. Not the first Master Tech, there's tons of them out there, but first one that's worked for us. So Daniel's a damn good hand, and he got some recognition. Mary threw him a little party. His wife made him a cool little cake, and thought I saw a few gifts go across the counter on the video I saw, but so congratulations, Daniel. Now it's your turn, Nick. So we get Nick up to speed here. He's had a little technical difficulty getting, he had multiple ASE accounts for some reason, and they're a lot like the government. They're a pain in the ass. They're a pain in the ass to deal with. It's like, delete the ones that don't matter and keep the one that's good, and let's move forward. But, you know, well, speaking of the government, we had a package delivered to our new facility. And I can't swear to it because I wasn't standing here, but I'm betting the carrier didn't even attempt to deliver it. No. So it's been sitting at the post office for 12 or 13 days, and I just happened to check this morning. It's some new clamps for our welding table. Fairly expensive box. I'm like, Jake, how's them new clamps working out? And he's like, what? I didn't get any clamps. What the hell do you mean you ain't getting clamps? I ordered them on like the 10th of April. Nothing here, boss. So I track them and whatnot, and of course, their attempted delivery. I mean, it's a really big building. You can't miss it, but, you know, it's a government official, so yeah, you guys do your own math on that deal. So we, Mary and I went and chased that down at the post office at lunch today, and Jake's got his new clamps 2 weeks late. What else did we do since I've been back? We're starting to draw some steps for our backyard patio upgrade. So that's my after hours project these days, or as soon as the weather cooperates. And I get over whatever I got going on. Other than that, I don't know much. Oh, you can see, I don't know if this will work or not, but, oh, there it is. So, what's up, Joel? Starting, the little pin that you see is the Max Built Off-Road Shop. just outside of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And if we zoom out a little bit, let's see if I can do this. There we go, zoom, zoom, zoom. That's I-94 to the right. If I go a little farther east, come on, a little more. There, that blue line starting to appear on the right side. That is the Trans-Wisconsin Adventure Trail that runs from the southwest corner of Wisconsin down by Illinois and Iowa all the way up to Bayfield. So we're going to jump on that. We're going to start off this year's event at Max Built on not November, holy shit, it's cold up there. September 15th, it's a Sunday night. Phil has opened up, or will be, but has agreed to open up the shop, and yes, and the parking lot, or the grassy field, I don't know if the grassy field is still there, because he did a big expansion project, and there's a new building, but whatever. We'll figure it out. We'll camp there Sunday night, leave there Monday morning, and zip over to the Twat, as they call it, and head north. This year we will make our way to the south shore of Lake Superior and spend a couple of nights on the beaches up there. Canoeing is back on for this year, so those of you that missed that trip and the dunking that happened, so maybe we'll get a repeat of that. Hopefully not. Hopefully Chris and Beth have figured out their canoe skills. They're both can run a canoe, but the two did not work well together that day. So they went for a swim on several occasions, and so we will attempt that again. So that's a good time if you've we had kids with. The river is not, we're not running the Colorado or some of the other big water in the country. It's a pretty lazy river, but there are a couple of little rapids that do have to be navigated in a canoe. And like Chris said, Beth's left is obviously not his left. So Chris and I are retired military. We understand left from right, and I guess that signal got crossed somewhere from the front of the canoe to the back of the canoe, and they tried to turn in a circle in the river and got sideways and went for a swim. So that's a good time. The kids had a blast. We had there are multiple places on this river where it's knee deep at best, especially in the fall. So we got out and poked around in the water, and so it's a good time. From there, we'll make our way to the South Shore and do some camping on the beach. So imagine pine trees, not palm trees, and if you can make that substitution in your brain, you'll think you're on an ocean beach in Hawaii or Jamaica or wherever you like to go to a beach, because it's nice, beautiful sand, crescent beach, waves crashing, the whole 9 yards. Except the water's about 38 degrees, but, no big deal. Toughen up. So that's Northwoods 16 through 20 September. As soon as I get the route in the next day or two, I will know where all of the stops will be and can start figuring out hotel, motel reservations. So if you're interested, info at 4Xploring, send me an email. I'll get you on the list. In the meantime, I expect to update the website probably middle of next week. So that is the only other 4Xploring trip we're doing this year. The plans were or are to do some TNT Customs traveling, get the mobile command post out, go to a few events. We'll see how that plays out, because we're a little short on funds these days because the move kind of kicked our ass. So the scheduled progress on the TJ is currently paused. So, but we still got the old Yeller. So we'll do a little tuning on it and take some of the overlanding stuff off of it for the summer probably, and can still take that out and about. Other than that, I don't know what else is going on. Like I said, I've been gone a week, and I've been out here trying to get the lathe up and running. Who's coming to Topless at Cowboy? To be determined, Bob. We will have people there. We're kind of double booked that day. We're doing the one at the local Jeep dealer and one in Colorado somewhere. Longmont, I hear in my other ear. Or Loveland, Longmont, somewhere, I don't know where. So we'll split the crew up and take Jeeps to both. But obviously people can't be at both. They're about 60 miles apart. Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I don't know. That's Mary and Tammy's department. I just go where I'm told. So, not sure who's going where yet, but we will get that settled out here in the next week or so, and have Jeeps at both places. When is that? May. It's a Saturday, I think. Yeah. 14th, 15th, 16th, somewhere in that neighborhood. If I. So. Bob says the 18th. So okay. So May 18th for those of you that are local or semi-local, if you'd like to participate in one of the Topless events.
Got it up on the Cheyenne Jeep.
Yeah, it's up on the Cheyenne Jeep something or other Facebook group. I'm sure Tammy has posted it somewhere. But May 18th, if you're interested, call the shop. And there's a Facebook link on our page, probably on Insta somewhere. I don't know. I'm not the social media dude. I just fix stuff and go jeeping. So, yeah, I don't think I know anything else. It's about quitting time. The guys should be headed out here shortly, including me, and off to Home Depot to get some stuff. So I'll go back to work tomorrow. If anybody there, Mary just put a link up in the comments, so click away. So other than that, I don't really know anything. Jason and I, once we get these Jeeps that we were committed to done, we'll really start focusing on putting our new Jeep shop together. We're kind of borrowing space at the auto shop. Not really borrowing it, I own it all, but you know, we're renting space over there to keep these projects done. But month of May we will. Okay, David says it's in Golden at Jeffco. So, even farther away. So, I have to leave even earlier. Nice. So, we will get the Jeep shop up. We got a lift laying on the floor right now, which is totally in my way for doing electrical work, but it is what it is. We'll get that up, and we have some JL Wrangler prototype work to get done. We've got everything drawn and have talked it through on multiple occasions, so we pretty certain we have a path to doing a Y-link on the front of a JL, and then stand by for what we do on the back. Got some interesting ideas back there, but need it up on a lift and completely shredded and tore apart 4-door to start. The front suspension, in theory, should work 2-door or 4-door. They're all the same from the firewall forward, depending on the variations in powertrain. Obviously, we are starting with a Pentastar equipped Jeep, so mileage may vary on the turbocharged 4-cylinder, but as soon as we get one done, we will be on the hunt for a turbo 4-cylinder to verify, because the exhaust is different on those. And then we do have plans for 2-door stretch rear suspension. We've done one, and yeah, maybe we'll see what Ben's, if Jess will give up the Jeep for a week or two. I don't know what their vehicle situation is, and they probably don't want to drive any of my old beaters. Although it'd be entertaining to tell Jess she could drive the plow truck. That would be entertaining.
We need the plow truck to haul some shit.
So, but we'll solve that as we get closer. But that's on the R&D and prototype list, is to get some bigger, better, longer travel JL suspension moving forward. Other than that, I don't really know of anything, so I think I'm gonna sign off, and it's good talking to everybody. I know I don't get around to this side of things as much as I used to, but you guys would probably rather look at Mary than me anyway, so I know I would. So, but no rear Gladiator bumpers. Maybe a pre-runner one, but none of my Jeeps are really pre-runners, so what's the point? There's a ton of rear bumpers out there. We will never make a swing out tire carrier, if that's what you're hinting at, Tanner. Not gonna happen. There ain't enough frame strength to handle that kind of weight cantilevered off the back of one of them, nor would you want that much weight cantilevered off the back of one of them. So, as we found out when we loaded my loaded Gladiator headed to Mexico, that didn't happen. When we put it on the trailer, I got about 30 miles down the road and had to pull over and pull all the spare tire mounts and spare tires off the trailer so I could move it farther forward, because Gladiators are pretty heavy on the ass, and that was wagging Tanner's crew cab long box Duramax 3/4 ton around like it was a half-ton pickup. So they're too heavy on the ass. Guardian, maybe. I don't know. See what I'm in the mood for. I don't really see a market for it, but I guess I'm old and crusty, and you're young and think stuff like that's cool. So, other than that, I guess I'll sign off, and we'll catch you guys next week.